أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe, the one who has given us all the blessings, and in return he has not asked for anything. Even if he has asked us something, that is only because it is for our own benefit. In day-to-day transactions, when you see when the transaction is done, there is a mutual benefit. Both people get something. If you ask somebody to do something for you, they're getting something and you're getting something. Everything, this is the way the world goes around. And if there is no mutual benefit, then they say that it is injustice. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you all of that. If he asks you to pray namaz, if he asks you to say dua, if he does ask you to refrain from doing sins and he wants you to do the obligations, it's not for his benefit. He doesn't get anything out of it. It's for your own benefit. But we are such a creation that we have kind of forgotten what is for our own benefit and what is for our loss. And we have the state of a mind of a child. Humanity, if you think about it, has been on this earth, I don't know, maybe 10, 14,000 years. Right?
Yeah.
So, out of the 10 to 14,000 years that humanity has been on this earth, how old humanity would be if somebody was to ask, you would say that humanity as an entity is 14,000 years old. Right? Right. So 14,000 years old means that it should not have the mind of a child. Right? अगर कोई कहा सब आपकी क्या एज है, वो आप कहें कि मैं 80 साल का हूँ, 80 साल का कहें तो वो उनको ये तो नहीं, वो इस बात को तो नहीं समझेंगे कि जो आगा कह रहा है कि मैं 80 साल का हूँ कि उसकी जो मेंटालिटी है वो 6 साल के बच्चे की, तो ये तो नहीं समझेंगे, तो ये समझेंगे कि हाँ सब बुजुर्ग हैं. लेकिन अगर उनकी ऐसे हरकतें 6 साल के बच्चे की हो रही हों, अगर वो हरकतें ऐसी कर रहे हो कि वो 6 साल का बच्चा करेगा, तो एक वो शख्स अफसोस करेगा कि देखिए 80 साल का हो गया लेकिन क्या 6 साल के बच्चों की तरह की हरकतें कर रहा है. Humanity has been on this earth for the last 14,000 years, but acts like even younger than a 4 or 5-year-old child would act. The mentality is still based on the same childish mentality that you find all in the kids. This is one my toy, it's my toy, I'm not going to share. Right? It's my border, this is my country, and this is it. Right? When we used to make those houses with the pillows and the takiye rakh ke, aur wo nahi banate the, ghar banate, ye mera ghar hai. You cannot come in my house, this is my house. Right? This is my playground, you cannot come here. This is mine, I don't want to share. if you look at the child mentality or the way that they are, it's exactly the way humanity is dealing with each other. You know, they'll call each other names like, you're this. वो prejudice होते हैं ना, prejudice show करते हैं, आप ये हो, आप वो हो. You know, they keep saying, calling each other names. This is what people do. Alaikum assalam. People do that in UNO, they sit and they just call each other names. Just say that, you know, you're this, you're that. And they go on TV and they call each other names. And they, like, if you, honestly, just think about it. Like, if you were to take a look at whole of humanity and just see that on the international level, on domestic level, on in the house, elders, almost everybody is not giving a mature outlook. Human beings to be here for the last 14,000 years are not giving a mature outlook to others. The outlook that's coming out is immaturity, it's like childish behavior. तो इंसानियत ने अभी तक वो बलूग ही नहीं अक्ली तौर पे पाया कि उसको समझ में आ जाए कि हकीकत में जब इबादत करते हैं तो उसका सिला क्या होता है. वो अभी तक बच्चों की तरह फंसी हुई है. Like children are, you know, when they don't know they're good and bad, they don't know their benefit. The mother would say, okay, if you want to drink milk, I'll give you a chocolate. Milk in itself is good for the child. The child doesn't understand it's good for me. Doesn't want to drink it. But chocolate would become the motivator for the child to drink milk. Right? It's like that for us. Okay, if you read Quran, I'll give you like 10 trees in heaven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, if you were to say Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, there will be a tree for you in heaven. So when somebody is reciting Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, thinking that they're going to get a tree in heaven, is the same childish behavior when the mother is saying to the child, drink milk, I'll give you chocolate. Same thing. No different. Whole of heaven is a motivator for children. What will you have? You'll have nice earning milk rivers and, you know, trees, and you'll be sitting on thrones, and you'll be lying down relaxing, and Salaam alaikum, and, you know, there will be people who are serving you, and you'll have, you know, beautiful houses, a lot of landscape, you know, mashallah, as far as the eye can see is your property. So, wow, you know, I cannot have that kind of thing here. I cannot have it here. I mean, marmara ke 2000 square foot ka ghar milta hai. Right? It's difficult to get like a 2000 square foot house. I mean, there's no servants, there's no, you know, big massive gardens and orchids for me here. So why don't I trade all of that, right? Just be content about this. And if I worship Allah, if I do dua, if I do tasbih, I'll get more. So that particular way of thinking is of a child. बच्चों की तरह हम इबादत करते हैं और समझते हैं कि हम बड़े हो गए. मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ, आप लोग देखें, नाराज ना हो करें. आप लोग नाराज हो जाते हैं, आप समझते हैं कि मैं ऊंची जगह पे बैठ के आप लोगों को माज़अल्लाह जो है वो कोई माज़अल्लाह कि मैं आप लोगों को जो है वो ये है कि एक उस अंदाज में बात करता हूँ जैसे कि आप में कोई बुराई हो. बुराई आप में नहीं है, बुराई मेरे में है. मैं जब बात कर रहा होता हूँ तो मैं अपने आप से बात कर रहा हूँ. वो आप लोग बीच में सुन लेते हैं कि हम
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
दिल पे नहीं लेनी, बताइए कि अगर दिल पे ले ली तो उस पे फिर कोशिश करें कि अमल करें। तो ये जो हमारी mentality है, the mentality that we have developed that we need to do something and then we need to have a reward, somebody should give us something, is actually a mentality that children have. We have to get out of that. Okay? अब इससे आउट होने के लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? मतलब आपने सब ये हदीसें सुनी है, मैं उसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊँगा, मैं जो पॉइंट बनाना उस तरफ आएंगे कि आपको पता है कि there are 3 types of worshippers, right? You know, in traditions you say one type of worshipper is a slave, right? So he's afraid that the master is going to punish, so therefore they would obey, they will worship. So the second type of worshipper is a businessman. उसे पैसा चाहिए, उसे transaction चाहिए. So he's doing transaction with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, fine, I'm doing subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, you're going to give me a tree. Okay? I just fed a moment, I gave them a khujur, so in reward I'm going to get heaven. Right? So they're doing transactions. Do you think these 2 levels are good or bad? What if we haven't even reached even these first 2 levels? सोचने वाली बात है ना कि हम कह रहे थे जी यार भाई ये गुलामों की इबादत है, ये जो है वो ताजरों की इबादत है, हम तो ताजरों की ना इबादत करते ना गुलामों की करते हैं, हम तो खुदा को मानते हैं कि खुदा है. If we say that, just think about these 2 levels of worship. A slave is worshipping, is in the obedience of the master, does not disobey because of the fear of punishment. A businessman does not let go of any transaction because knows that in every transaction the reward is 10 times or 70 times. What if there was a person who was not afraid of the fire? What if there was a person who was not afraid of the punishment? What if there was a person who was not motivated by a transaction where you give 1, you get 10 or 70 or what you cannot count? What if there's a person like that? What would you say to him or her? यानी बदबख्त तो वो इंसान है ना मेरे जैसे जो ना जन्नत की शौक में इबादत करे ना जहन्नुम के खौफ में. हमारी स्टेट तकरीबन यही है. अगर वाकई जहन्नुम का खौफ हो तो किसी की सुबह की फजर की नमाज कज़ा ना हो. अगर कोई आपसे ये कह दे कि अगर आप 5:34 पे उठ के नमाज नहीं पढ़ेंगे, if you do not pray at 4:34, I'm going to burn you to a crisp. Who is the one who's going to keep on sleeping? They will stay awake all night. Okay, if I go to sleep, even if I sleep for 5 minutes, I don't know, maybe I'll sleep the whole night and then I'm going to be burned to crisp. I don't want to do that. They'll stay awake. How are we then? Who are sleeping at the time of Fajr and the Fajr gets qaza and we say, yeah, you know, this is the worship that the Ghulam do, we don't do that worship. We haven't even reached the first level yet. If we can even be afraid of the hellfire that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for humanity, we would not sin. The reason why we end up sinning is because we're not afraid. And if there is somebody who comes and puts fear inside of us, we say, this person, your attitude I don't like. I don't like the way you speak to us. And we don't want to be afraid. We don't want to be told that we are nothing. No, we are something. We are not. Be honest to yourself and to others. We're not. We're still stuck in kindergarten and we think that we have done PhD in Islam. We have done nothing. We're still worried about praying namaz on time. We're still worried about our 5-time prayers. We're still worried about our sisters having hijab. We're still worried about people having the ability to recite Quran. We're still worried about how to do wudu. We don't know how to do ghusl. We don't know.
So true.
If somebody wants to say, okay, I'm going to ask you and you're going to demonstrate for me that how you do ghusl janabat, how many of us would be afraid to actually find out that maybe what we have been doing for years is actually wrong? We're not nowhere. We are living in the end of times where time has finished, ran out for humanity. All the childish behavior that humanity has been showing for thousands of years, there is no room for it anymore. The Imam of the time is just around the corner where he's going to come and ask us. वक्त नहीं रहा हमारे पास आ रहा. अभी गया वक्त कि आप जो है वो बंदा जिस तरह भी कुछ नहीं होता, खैर है कुछ नहीं होता, हो जाएगा, ये टाइम नहीं रहा. Our mindset is such that we don't see the ugliness of sins anymore. The reason we don't see the ugliness of sins anymore is because we're not afraid. And if somebody comes and puts fear inside of us, इसलिए इससे भागो. किसकी मजलिस में बैठेंगे? नारा मार तो जन्नत पा, उसकी मजलिस में बैठे. Meaning what? They say, Masalan, you don't have to do anything, just show up to the majlis and that's it, you are in heaven. Imam Ali is going to put you into heaven, no problems. No namaz, no roza, no fasting, no hijab. Hazrat Abbas is going to say, oh my little sister, oh my sister, come let's go to heaven because you did not have hijab all of the time that you lived your life. It's okay. Is this what we take Hazrat Abbas to be? Whose severed head cried on the spear, seeing the daughters of the Prophet not having hijab on their heads. This is Abbas. What नहीं रहा? I don't have time. सलावत पढ़ो.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Although the little time that I had with you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us that we were able to speak about dua and we were able to speak about many different things, on many different topics. Some dealt with metaphysical, some dealt with, alam al-malakut, and we discussed all these different things with qada and qadar and, the frame of mind that a person has, fitrat and so forth. We discussed many things in the context of dua. But what we have to realize that yes, okay, we understand all of that concept, but when we look at our own selves, and I'm going to look at my own self, and you have to look at your own self, that when my Ramadan is finished, are we stuck in the same way as we were before, or do we have enough strength now to be able to actually do what is required of us? If we don't have the strength to be able to do what is required of us, but we understand the concept of dua, that concept of dua understanding will help you. But that strength, if you do not have to do what is required, we will still be stuck in the minimum kindergarten and will never get out of it. Because these concepts that I've tried to give you are not of kindergarten. These concepts are not of kindergarten. These concepts are as kalasima bala has. Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi, he says that this, like for example, how I was telling you yesterday about kun fayakun, the person having the ability to say be and it becomes. He says that in order for us to explain that, it is above our class, and it's an Ayatollah who has spent all of his life. He's gone to 60 different countries to make speeches, to do tabligh. He's been giving Dars Akhlaq for the last over 25 years in the Daftar of Rahbar Muazzam, and he's been called the Mutahari of his time, and he's saying that it is as kalasima bala, we talk about kun fayakun, and we talk about how a slave of Allah can become so close to Allah that his eyes become the eyes of Allah, his ears become the ears of Allah. Right? But for us, it's as kalasima bala nis, maslan. For us, it's not above our class. The reason why it's not above our class, because if we start talking, okay, you know what, this time that we're going to be together, this is what's going to happen. I'm not going to be on the mimbar, I'm going to sit down here, there's going to be water here, we're going to see each and every one of you, how you do your wudu, and we're going to test it. What would happen? The Maulana Sahib, it was nice to know you. Thank you very much. You know? Meaning we are not worried about the minimums, we are worried about those things that, for example, was a tree that Hazrat Adam ate from, was it a, I don't know, was it an apple tree, was it a, gandum, yani wheat, what kind of tree was it? And we will have discussion and so forth about it. Okay, we figured out, okay, it was wheat, then what? Your fajr tomorrow is still going to be qaza. We figured it out that it was wheat. We deciphered the mysteries of the universe. The Big Bang theory, we declassified the whole thing, and we figured out how creation started. So, what will happen? That the person will wake up in the morning? Because the human beings are still in the state of mind of a child, it is required for them to become afraid of hellfire. If they are not afraid of the hellfire, they will not do anything. They will not obey. Very few, maybe. Majority, they will not obey. Don't you see, like, there are professors in the universities who know Irfan and Nazari better than, for example, some of our scholars. But they're Jews and Christians. Jews and Christians, they understand Irfan and Nazari means the actual reality, how this universe operates, they know. They know. Have they become Muslims at least? No. No. Do they have the fear that on the day of judgment they're going to be asked which religion or creed or nation or what were your actions? Did that information bring about fear inside of their heart? No. Being afraid of hellfire is necessary for general public to become motivated to do something which is in their own benefit. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not get anything by putting someone in the hellfire. Wherein in reality the person who is going to go to hell, the ulama, they say it is more difficult to go to hell than it is to go to heaven. See? कहते ज़्यादा मुश्किल है कि इंसान जहन्नुम में चला जाए. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened the doors of forgiveness. He has brought guidance, He has brought prophets, He has given you the opportunity, you can ask for forgiveness till the last breath that you are going to breathe in this earth. He has given you the opportunities to that person who distributes the dates in the Maghrib, each date that you are distributing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the reward of heaven. One heaven. One heaven if you open the fast of a month. The person who comes and recites one share for the shan of Ahlul Bayt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give that person 6 times the size of earth, a house in which from morning till night angels and anbiya will come and shake that person's hand. With all that motivation, with all that reward, and with all that suffering and punishment that is there as a promise in hell, people don't get motivated, then whose fault is it? Isn't it that it's justifiable that we show up on the Day of Judgment and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then what? Just like how I asked you, and you don't have an answer. Then guess what we're going to say? I'm going to say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please, you know what? Can you send me back? Let me go back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to say what? He's going to say, even if I send you back, you're going to do the same thing. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that? Think about it. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that if I was to send you back, you're going to do the same thing? If you think about logically, it's only giving the person one chance. चाहते हैं ये इम्पोर्टेंट है बात. खुदा क्यों कहेगा कि भाई तुम जाओगे वापस वही काम करोगे? अगर देखा जाए सिर्फ एक चांस है ना. मैं जिंदा रहा, मर गया, रोज़े लाश में उठा, खुदा से कहा खुदा मुझे वापस भेज दे, एक चांस है ना. One more chance. I'm only asking for one more chance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, you're going to do the same. Is it because of the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has? Is it because He already knows what I'm going to do? Or is it because I have gotten trillions of chances and I've done the same?
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, you are born. It is basically like a delivery room. चाहते में इस एग्जाम्पल के बाद खत्म है बात. You're going to die tonight. You will die tonight. Every one of us is going to die tonight when you go to sleep. It is death. It is the sister of death. It is the brother of death. It is the cousin of death. It is a small death. It is death. You're going to die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is all in the light of Quran and Ahadith and so forth. You're going to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You're going to go back to Him. You're going to be with Him. And the ones whose time has come and that's it, they're going to stay. The ones whose time has not come, they're going to be reborn again. The eyes are going to open as if it is for the first time. And that whole day is one life. That whole day you have one life. You are born and you die. And that one day, if you do what is right, and you don't come back that night, you are going to go to heaven. And in that one day you do something which is that atrocious that you should go to hell, you will go. And if you don't come back. Every day we live one life. So if I'm 40, how many lives I've lived? 40 times 765, please somebody, 14,000 times? So I don't know, 13,000 times? 15,000 times, let's say. Oh, okay, 14 is a good number. 14,000 lives I've lived. 14,000 times I have born. 14,000 times I've died. And in that life I've done the same thing, and I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me one more. Meaning what? Give me 14,001 more chance. What should be the regular person's response? Forget the creator of the universe. Universes. What is the regular person's response? You're going to go do the same thing? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to realize that it is the promise of Allah that if we do an atom worth of good, we will see it, and if we do an atom worth of evil, we will see it. May Allah give us the strength to be able to be how He wants us to be. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the coming of our Imam as soon as possible. May we have the opportunity to serve Him and be His friends and followers. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. There is a dua for